This offseason is where Tom Brady will end up signing. Michael Irvin was on WEEI in Boston recently and discussed a very interesting possibility of the Cowboys trading Dak and signing Brady. Here's what he said.
At that Super Bowl in Miami, some very significant people and I had some conversations leaning in that same direction. And it was shocking. I mean, I had a vodka cranberry in my hand, and when they said it to me, I put the drink down and said, let's talk a little bit more.
Put the drink down.
Yeah, very important that the vodka cranberry was part of this. Irvin went on Twitter Sunday to clarify his comments. He said, I never said Jerry or anyone in the organization said this to me. It was not anyone with the Dallas Cowboys. So let's bring Keyshawn back in here. Keyshawn, can you see Brady going to the Cowboys? Just what's your reaction to all of this?
I don't drink vodka cranberry, just so that you know. No, I can't see him going to any team other than the team that he's been with his entire career, which are the New England Patriots. I know it's fascinating. I know we want to talk about it because he's taken it to the point where it's going to get to free agency. He teased everybody with the Super Bowl commercial. Everybody kind of gravitated to that, ran with that. At the end of the day, a guy like Tom Brady, who's been with an organization his entire career, doesn't leave unless a team doesn't want him, and that's not the feeling in New England. The New England Patriots want Tom Brady back. They're going to give him a contract. He's going to sign. He'll be there for some sort of OTAs and mini camps, and he'll start the season trying to get back to the Super Bowl with the New England Patriots.
That's a very important point to make, that we always will point out, well, look at all these guys who finished their careers in other places, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, et cetera. Those were different circumstances.
Yes,
where
that
the
is
teams
correct.
We're ready to move on. And in this case, it's not obvious that the team is ready. Maybe Bill Belichick is ready to move on, and we don't know it. We don't have any indication of that. Right, Dan?
Right. Our understanding is that the Patriots will make an effort to bring him back, yes.
And so, Cliff, he's saying almost the same thing you said, which is you've been in 20 years in one place. The chance of wanting to leave that circumstance seems unlikely to you as well.
I think it's slim. I mean, we talk about all the different things that Tom Brady has been able to do. We all know here that it's extremely hard to play for one organization, right, for a long period of time. Tom has been doing it for 20 years. He's set up so much stuff there. We're talking about TB12, one of his workout facilities, is right next to the doggone practice facility. Nobody else in the NFL has that going. So why would you just get up and leave? And I don't think Belichick and those guys want to leave. They want this thing to be legendary. It messes up the legendary story if Tom decides he wants to go play somewhere else.
And let's not forget this. I mean, they were a Week 17 victory over the Miami Dolphins away from being the number 2 seed. They're really one playmaker on offense away from being legit again that'll be able to garner double teams down the field. And they have a very, very experienced roster. We don't call it old. We'll say it's experienced. And so with that, they could probably run this thing back for another year or two, and that would give them the best chance to win.
Spoiler alert, they're the oldest team in the NFL. Let's bring our playmaker back into this. Keith, is there any, and you played for Belichick, is there any question in your mind he wants Brady back?
He absolutely wants Brady back. We'll never hear Bill Belichick say that because it's just not his style. He never pats anybody on the back while you're playing for him. It always feels as though there's this tension between player and Bill Belichick, when in fact that's never the case. That's just his personality. He's not going to say, oh, I got to have Tom Brady back. He's going to do it privately with the owner, privately with whoever his guys are within the organization, and that's pretty much it. And I think when you think about it, though, Greeny and fellas, Joe Montana left to go to the Kansas City Chiefs because Steve Young was right behind him, but also Hackett was his quarterback coach with the San Francisco 49ers, who became the offensive coordinator with the Kansas City Chiefs. So there was nothing changed there. The offense was the same. If Tom Brady was to go somewhere else, he would have to learn an entirely new offense at 49 years old or whatever he is. He doesn't want to do that.
He'll be 43 in August. It is an interesting point. Well, we thought Josh McDaniels might get a head coaching job, and we were all putting, maybe Brady and McDaniels together going somewhere new. That is not the way this wound up going. Let's talk about another quarterback here. Let's talk about Baker Mayfield. Coming off a standout rookie year, Baker Mayfield experienced a sophomore slump in 2019, to say the least. He had the worst touchdown to interception ratio in the sport in a 6-10 season. The Browns and their new front office have come out in support of him. Stephen A. has some questions.
What the hell is all of this stuff, the massaging of Baker Mayfield? What have you done? You've thrown 22 touchdowns, 21 interceptions. The bottom line is this. He can play. I'm not knocking Baker Mayfield. I know he's not a scrub. But my God, to sit up there and to soak up all that adulation and to produce so little and for the folks to have this insatiable appetite to continue to support him, what are you going to do next? Put a pacifier in his mouth? It's ridiculous.
All right. So, I mean, A, you could listen to it all day. B, Keyshawn, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, you have to support your quarterback when you're the new general manager and a new head coach. You got to give him an opportunity to prove you wrong. I mean, you don't want to come in there and start off acting like the tough guy and you better do this and you better do it this way or else we're going to get rid of you. You just kind of let it settle down a little bit. See what he is as a player. I mean, you obviously have watched him over the last couple of years, so you know what type of quarterback he could be on both sides, good and bad. And if you are worth anything as a coach, you try to maximize his talent as much as you can. And then you see what it is. You know, midway through the year, if it's not working out, then you start having that conversation about, well, maybe I'll go look to do something else. But you certainly want to pat him on the back. You don't want him coming in there and feeling like the world is against him.
Yeah, Graziano, he's eligible, Baker is, for an extension after next season. I think what Keyshawn's saying is really important here. We got to give him some time, but either way, just the likelihood in your mind of the Browns maybe moving past him, or what could they do here, you know, to maybe help Baker right now?
Yeah, I think it's too soon, obviously, to move past Baker Mayfield. And I think when you talk about hiring Kevin Stefanski as the head coach, one of the things the Browns liked about him is his background in Minnesota he's not bringing in one system, right? He's worked in a number of different offensive systems with a number of different quarterbacks. So to Keyshawn's point, this is a coach that can take a player, what does he do well, how can we build it around him? So I think that's probably point one. And then, you know, earlier in the show, was it Cliff, I think, that suggested bringing in a veteran to kind of be with Baker and maybe push him a little bit. I think knowing what we know about Baker and his competitiveness, that's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean, he's known for, like, having a chip on his shoulder, right? That's been his whole thing. Like, he has a chip on his shoulder. He wants to prove people wrong. Well, guess what? If that's how he performs at his best, bring in a veteran quarterback that's going to push him a little bit. That's going to make him better himself in all aspects of the game, but also just learn from that veteran as well. It's nothing harder than to go into a system, to a team, and not really know how to lead these grown men. You know, I know for myself, I had Kyle Vanden Bosch, a veteran that came in and taught me how to be a pro. It's one thing to play football. It's another thing to become a pro. And so I think having somebody like that pushing them would be huge.
Can I throw a different thing into this conversation here? And look, I've been heavily critical of the Browns and of Baker Mayfield all through the season because it was a mess. In the 2 seasons that he has been their starting quarterback, they've won 13 games. In the 2 seasons prior to that, they won 1. They were 1-31. He became the quarterback of the worst franchise in American professional sports, and it wasn't close. You made this point earlier. He is now on his 4th head coach. He's played 2 seasons. I get that we think they put a lot of great talent around him, and they did, at least in the names on the backs of the jerseys. But the offensive line was terrible. The head coach clearly didn't seem to have any idea what he was doing. So I'm not absolving Baker of all responsibility for what happened, but the notion that you would be even considering giving up on him at this point strikes me as ridiculous.
And I believe his rookie year, he threw more touchdown passes than Peyton Manning did.
Yeah, as a rookie.
As a rookie, he was very good. So as a general manager, as a head coach, you just want to be able to see the upside. What is as good as this player can be? Now, the second piece of that is how do we get him to that, to play there for 16 games each and every year? A lot of that goes in to the players you put around him, the stability in the front office, and then also having one head coach for maybe more than like 2 or 3 years in a row, or maybe even more than 8 games.
Yeah.
He's been there 2 seasons. He's now on his 4th head coach.
That's crazy.
And none of that is him. Right? Sometimes you say, well, these guys are coach killers. None of that is him.
No.
Most of that, the seeds of that were sown long before he got there. So anyway, again, I'm not suggesting he's going to be the greatest quarterback that ever lived.
But give him a chance.
You got to give him a chance at this point. Okay, we'll have more football as we go, but let's keep Keyshawn here for the basketball conversation.
Yeah, some sneaky big news, actually, Greeny, from the NBA. Despite watching a Lakers game courtside with Jeannie Buss last week, veteran guard Darren Collison has reportedly decided to remain retired, will not return to the NBA this season. Here's what Ramona Shelburne and Brian Windhorst had to say last week after the Lakers decided to stand pat at the trade deadline.
They were very focused on not disrupting their culture. Okay, not disrupting this brotherhood that they've built, not just over the course of the season, but especially so in this last week.
It's one of the best locker rooms in the NBA.
I don't know what you do.
Just in terms of the way the guys relate to each other, you can tell it the minute you walk in there.
What Ramona is describing is important, and I don't know what I would have done if I was Rob Pelinka, because I still feel like the Lakers are a player short.
Sean Farnham, did this Darren Collison thing get maybe a little more attention than it even warranted, considering where the Lakers actually are?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Lakers are a really good team. They're in first place in the West, and Darren Collison isn't going to make a huge difference. What he provides is depth, and your concern is the wear and tear of this long NBA season. We're 64% through the regular season right now. What they're asking LeBron to do, and the number of minutes that they're logging, and they're the oldest team in the NBA.
I want to bring Keyshawn back into this conversation for an answer to this as well. He hosts a radio show there in Los Angeles. You're obviously having these conversations every single day. Key, I'll ask you the same question I asked Sean earlier this morning. If you had to bet something that mattered to you on the outcome of this, do you like the Lakers to win the championship as constituted?
Well, I do. I think that if we can get our play from the second unit and we can somehow get Rondo to sort of kind of be playoff Rondo, as he's been nicknamed, and if we can get Kyle Kuzma to start knocking down shots on a consistent basis and playing a little better defense with the second unit. Our frontline guys, I'm not too worried about. It's the second unit that scares me a little bit as we get toward playoff push.
Well, the second unit is the reason why I look at the Clippers. The Clippers' second unit is far more productive than the Lakers' second unit. They, in fact, are the most productive second unit in all of the NBA. They lead them in scoring, they lead in rebounding, and in minutes. And let's not forget, they've played twice. You know who's won both times they've played?
The Clippers did,
The Clippers have. And one of those games was without Paul George. Look, I think these are the two best teams in the Western Conference by far. I know Utah and Denver obviously are playing better. But I think the Lakers and the Clippers, it is a two-team race in the Western Conference right now to see who's going to potentially play the Bucks at the NBA Finals time.
Do you worry at all about the load, though, on LeBron right now?
Yeah, for sure I do. He's 35 years old. How can you not? I mean, he's superhuman. And we heard Conor McGregor say, hey, I learned how to invest in my body because of what LeBron James has done over the course of his career. There's nobody in the league that has done a better job maintaining their level of fitness other than Bobby Carpenter on Get Up. But when you look at it, I mean, LeBron puts in more work than anybody. So can he withstand all of this? Yeah, he can. But age is undefeated. Yeah. And eventually, it gets you, and I hope it doesn't.
We have to talk about the Bobby photos, but that's a whole separate conversation. Quickly, Keyshawn, they're in L.A. Lakers, Clippers, 7 games in late May. Who wins?
I'm probably going to go with the Lakers in this one, Greeny. I'm a homer, so I'm just a homer. But I think, look, them getting Marcus Morris obviously adds something to them in terms of a little more edgy and toughness. Outside of Rondo on our team, LeBron's not that edgy, tough guy like that. People know his style of basketball. He's rough, but I mean that guy that'll go to the cup and give you an elbow. That's a Marcus Morris. We got to find that guy on the Lakers. We got to find that guy somewhere, and I don't know if he's there right now.
All right, Keyshawn, great to see you. We'll see you down here a little later this week. Thank you for jumping in with us this morning. I like the way he calls the Lakers week. It's a fan. Yeah. I like it.
He's invested.
Still, as we continue here, coming up, one of Mitchell Trubisky's teammates strongly had his back this weekend. You'll hear why the Bears must investigate